Hi, I'm Kelly, and this is my perspective video. This is my rough pretend visual aid. So I'm gonna start. Um, what I want people to get out of this presentation is that, especially in the age of social media and this hyper interconnectedness, we really have to be cognizant of the way we talk about and present eating disorders, especially in the media. So my research paper was about pro-eating disorder blogs, which are often referred to pro-ana or pro-mia, short for pro-anorexia or pro-bulimia. And these are things that I think a lot of people know are out there, but a lot of people who aren't active on Tumblr or whatever don't know are out there. So what these blogs essentially are a place for people who are suffering from these diseases to find other people who are also sufferers, and they just encourage these destructive behaviors. They're not places where people find help, they're places where these things are just, people just immerse themselves in these diseases. And they make eating disorders seem glamorous or trendy. So the point of my presentation is to try to start changing that. So I have this video, and this is an example of something that would be on a pro-ana or pro-mia blog. So this would be up here, and then it would be about a 1 or 2 minute video that I would show, and it shows different themes of these blogs. So then I want to talk about how that specific video demonstrates some of the traits that are really typical of pro-ana and pro-mia blogs. And the most common themes are self-control, success, perfection, and often shame. So these things are very harmful because they paint this unhealthy, super restrictive, super calorie restriction as something that shows they make it seem like being able to restrict your diet to 500 calories a day is a show of superhuman self-control or superiority, when really it's a symptom of a disease. So I would also like to talk a little bit about how I picked this topic in the first place. I was at a summer journalism intensive at Northwestern, and I got to pick a trend to write a 6-page, like 1,800 word story about. And I read this thing on Twitter or somewhere dumb that was like, if you have to write a research paper, pick something that makes your blood boil, because you'll be able to rant about it for 15 pages or whatever. And when I was coming back to pick my big board topic, I was thinking about my trend story and about how angry it made me that there are people out there who encourage people to stay in the disease instead of encouraging them to seek treatment. And I said, I could rant for that about 20 pages. I could rant about that for 20 pages. So I started to write about pro-ana and pro-mia blogs. And I also, in my paper, touched on websites that promote self-harm, which is the same kind of thing. Really, eating disorders are just a form of self-harm. But it was harder to find research on that topic, and a lot harder to find solutions to that. So my thesis for my paper, word for word, was, while the internet is a powerful tool, pro-anorexia and self-harm and suicide websites have used it to promote and encourage destructive behaviors. By looking at the impact and history of these sites, experts can not only halt this trend, but they can use the internet as a means of reaching young people at risk for self-harm and suicide and eating disorders. So I guess I'd also like to get a little bit into how these sites came to be. In 2001, Yahoo was reportedly hosting the most of these sites of any internet provider. And they went through and took down like 200 of them. But it wasn't enough. It was they succeeded in continuing to exist in these back channels of the internet, these like dark corners, and I don't even understand the internet enough to know where that is, but these little underground places. So then they thrived like that for what, 5, 6, 7 years, and then in 2008 Tumblr and Twitter get really, really big. And in 2008 they say, there's a report that comes out and it says there might be 500 of these sites, which sounds like a lot. But then if you go and you watch as the rates climb in 2008 with Tumblr and Twitter, there are like 200 million now because it's so much easier. And you'd think that Tumblr could just go in and take them down, or Twitter could just block the tag, but they can't even identify all of the places that these things are happening because they will misspell tags, or they'll spell it like anorexia with zeros. I mean, there's 100 ways around getting detected by Twitter or Tumblr. And if you go on Tumblr and you search pro Anna, let's say, you get this little warning, and it asks if you need help, and it asks if you need to seek counseling. And I know this because I have done 100 searches of pro anorexia for this paper. And you can just close it. You can just close the warning and say, no, I'm fine, no, I'm good, I don't need it. And then you can just browse through all of the pictures of, 20-pound, 80-pound women with their bones jutting out. So, in my paper, I talked about possible solutions. And that is what I really would like you to get out of my presentation, is that the solution can't be just to take these sites down. We have to fix the root of the problem. And a lot of these sites use content that comes directly from the mainstream media. So in the mainstream media, the way to fix it is that we need to change the way we talk about eating disorders. It's just like how in the news, they won't describe the gory details of murder because they don't want to encourage copycats. They don't want to, we can't start stories about anorexics with, she weighed 80 pounds at her worst, or she restricted her calories to 200 a day, because it gives anorexics a goal. And it sounds silly, but if you're in that place, it gives you something that's like, I eat 300 calories a day, and she only ate 200 calories a day, and it gives them encouragement, and it gives these blogs something to feed off of and share, and yeah. So, like I said before, restricting calories shouldn't be looked at as a feat of superhuman self-control. It should be balance, should be what we encourage. And I got a chance to talk to Mary Sanders, who's a professor at Stanford School of Medicine in their Department of Psychiatry's Eating Disorder Department. And that was what she said, was that balance is the most important thing. You have to like, it's not glamorous to not eat. It's not healthy, and health isn't a number on a scale. So the last thing I want to talk about is my community outreach. I wanted to talk to young girls about body positivity, because you can't just start talking about eating disorders with elementary schoolers, but you can show them how to like themselves. You can show them that self-loathing and picking yourself apart isn't trendy, like these blogs make it seem. It's not healthy. And you can hope that that if they develop a disease like this, that they are more apt to seek help, not someone to tell them that it's okay, and someone to help them keep losing weight. So that's what I did, and I went, my plan right now is to go to Pierce Elementary School and decorate mirrors with these young girls and talk about why we should be positive about our bodies, and start there. So at this point I would take questions, and I have realized from this video that this is way too short, and I want to incorporate more about my interviews with the 2 professors in the Department of Psychiatry at Stanford, and I want to talk more about the websites and give more background so that people have a better understanding of what this is. Thank you. I hope I significantly improved from this practice video. So yeah.